An interstellar man of mystery.
It just says that you've received an invitation to a 10-day dinner. It doesn't identify who's invited you.
Intriguing.
It's most likely the Count or one of his representatives for the ASL.
Okay. By the way, what is the ASL?
Alliance Star Lines. It's
Okay.
the front organization for the things we do here.
But officially, it's a freighter. Is it a freighter company or a cruise line?
They do both passenger and freight.
Okay, just curious.
Interstellar transport.
Okay.
And Bruce, where's the dinner?
So it's the Casino Monte Carlo. If you look in the folder, there's an island or one of the maps. Let's see which. That doesn't show it. That doesn't show it. So if you look at the JPEG Casino or Monte Carlo Casino general plan, that shows you the casino itself. Let's see.
There's a picture of the front of the building at the Monte Carlo Casino at dusk, JPG.
Yeah, I thought I had.
There's another one right next to it in mine that it shows where the small marquee is. There's a sales section.
Oh, there it is. The one that says Fairmont Monte Carlo.
All right, let me go back out then because I'm Fairmont. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so the Fairmont Monte Carlo is the hotel right on the water. Just north of that, the first building north is the Casino Monte Carlo. There's the two big bell tower type things on either side of the main entrance. That's it. That
okay.
Building there.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where you're going, and it's the main. Well, presumably you would present yourself to the marquis. No, not the marquis.
Maitre d'.
That's it, the maitre d', or the house steward, and they would direct you as to where you would go. But there is indication that a transport would be provided at the appropriate time.
Yeah, they'll pick us up in a limo. That's SOP.
Yes. And it is a suit and tie affair. So if you don't have appropriate clothing, you better get it.
Is white tie too much?
No.
That's what I've got.
Although
I've got bulletproof.
You're probably aware that everyone else doesn't have what's appropriate.
So I'll take them to the tailor.
I was going to say, I certainly don't.
Right.
All right. Okay, so Dylan will advise that everyone come see the tailor. And there is a tailor here at the Sportsman's Club. And by the way, Dylan.
Yes.
You don't owe him money, do you?
So
No.
no. But he'll ask the relevant questions and make recommendations, but take your input as well and tell you if no, that's not appropriate. I won't do it. Or you can take my advice within, your style, so to speak. Okay, so is everyone, so sort of cut to the chase here. This is a formal affair. You're looking at clothing at least 1,000 credits. More would be the baseline. More would probably be appropriate, but it's up to you.
I spent $4,000 on mine, plus I have 1,000 credits worth of bling, watch, cufflinks, etc.
Well, it's a good thing I won something at the tables then.
Okay, so let me ask the relevant question. Is anyone not going? Okay. Is anyone spending less than 1,000? More than 5,000?
I think 5,000 is our base.
That shouldn't be necessarily a base, because my outfit was made for a specific event.
So, I mean, I was thinking 2,000, 2,500, but
yeah, that should be fine.
Technically, clerical vestments are suitable for any occasion.
Are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm going to spend 2,500 and buy a decent suit.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Bruce, is there the option to add any, high performance extras to these things?
So, yes. When you think high performance, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking, a party that gets extra excited, or, sharp, pointy things happen in the event. Is there? Can I spend a few bucks and get just another layer of invisible protection?
How do you want to broach that with the tailor?
Do I know if we should broach that with the tailor?
I don't know whether Dr. Smith raised the question with you.
Oh, that's true.
Well, I'm totally going out on a limb here, Bruce. So whatever guidance you guys can give me, I think is good. So here's one thing I read in the sheet for the on this place. If you go back to that, the description of the area, the last paragraph is that there's still a lot of outside of the city, especially. It's a virtual death sentence for Carillion troops, police, or officials to patrol the streets.
So Bahamut is notorious in that way, yes. But this is Monte Carlo. This is a resort for very, very wealthy, and there's no evidence of any of that kind of activity here. In fact, you might see Carillion officers from time to time.
I see. I think then I should be asking Dylan about it if this place has that kind of dual, that we'll call it two-faced persona, right? Where right outside the city. It's different than
So
it is in. And
are you raising this with everyone together?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm
Everyone roll a percentile.
Arthur, nice number.
I know, right? Bruce,
Yep.
is my lack for better word John Wick suit a good enough suit for this
No.
event? It's not. Dang it! Oh, I was wondering. Oh well.
No, that's a different uh, this is like a tuxedo
Oh,
that
okay, okay.
and what your that suit is like a business suit. Jonathan, do we get a roll from you?
Yeah, I didn't get it. I got it like 71.
I didn't see your roll.
Yeah, I got a 76 actually.
Oh, that was your roll? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Arthur, Gary, and Renald. Um, each of you can put a check mark on your psychology, and you will come to the realization as Dr. Smith is asking this question that there are a lot of military people here. The some of the driving courses are combat driving oriented. Um, a lot of the uh, sporting activities are actually doubling as actual combat training of some kind. Um, there are, for instance, there are, uh, you know, laser tag that is actual small unit tactics training. It appears to you, in sort of having been here for a good 3 weeks, 4 weeks now, that um, this is a military training camp in disguise as a resort.
Interesting.
Welcome to the ASL.
So yeah,
Sickening.
there's things like uh, the scuba diving classes, for instance. Um,
Include
it looks
demolitions
like,
training.
yes, underwater demolitions, for instance. Um, so now none of it's presented that way. And if Gary hadn't asked the question about, gee, I wonder if I could get a suit that's more combat oriented or have some defensive value, that it wouldn't have triggered the question. But um, uh, so to the specific question about the tailor, yes, Brian or Dylan knows that the tailor is capable of uh, uh, lining suits with uh, ballistic fabrics or uh, uh,
What you want to do
to
is
give them.
ask for executive materials.
Yes, exactly. And that will lead to another set of questions like, what do you intend, what do you anticipate? Um, yeah, things like punctures, uh, you know, dinner knives. That it'll be couched in that kind of questioning. But basically, what he'll be asking is, um, do you want ballistic cloth or do you want uh, uh, slashing defense?
And the answer is yes.
Okay.
I will
Well,
also mention that the people we'll be meeting with will provide any necessary defenses we may need here, which we don't need.
I just thought this was a good opportunity to pick something up,
That's
for
true.
other event.
That is absolutely true.
okay. So the answer is yes. Um, you can get um, a tuxedo that has some qualities like that. Um, you look at let's see, where's the database equipment? Yeah, so in the ground and air equipment, there's a advanced armor list. Um, he can do LBA 6, but it's going to cost 4,000.
Okay, I'm looking for that. So give me just a second, but I certainly have the cash for it. So let me just go look at the specs.
Yeah, so it's the PDF in the equipment folder, ground and air equipment. Um,
You said it's going to cost 4,000.
on top of what it is. So
Got it.
if it's a $4,000 tuxedo, it's now 8,000.
Okay.
And you said LBA 6, right?
Correct. Now, remember, this is LBA 6 in a tuxedo, as opposed to the Tech 9 suit.
Yeah.
And it won't include the head.
We don't get a top hat with that?
You could, but
Top hat a
it's
face
not going
mask.
to
Exactly.
Get the
it's not a
cape.
helmet.
Yeah.
So when you approach him on this, he's also going to say that when do you need this? And your need is in the next few days. So he's not going to have time to make the armor, but he could certainly do a suit and get started on the other item.
Could. Okay. Okay.
It takes time to, but if it's just the suit, that's one thing. But making ballistic, making armored tuxedos is a little more involved.
But we can just get fitted, pay him for it. We'll get the plain Jane, and then later he's going to follow up with, oh, by the way, here's that vest you ordered.
Right.
Okay. Deal. And it's 8, right?
It's what?
8,000, you said, total.
Correct. Now, I should point out that since it's not going to be delivered for this dinner, you could think in terms of, do you really need a tuxedo? Maybe something else would be more appropriate. So you might want to think through that a little bit.
Got it.
And Aiden brought up the John Wick suit. That's kind of what we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of idea. Okay, so so if you want 2 suits, spend the appropriate money appropriately, and any accessories. Now, is anyone taking weapons to the meeting?
No.
What is this meeting again?
It's a dinner.
Who invited us?
The invitation does not identify the host.
Okay, then yeah, I'm bringing it in.
But I will
Okay.
mention, it will most likely be either the Count or one of his representatives with the ASL.
Okay, self-protection.
Okay, so what are you taking?
There's a specific one that is it's the 7mm body pistol.
Okay, so concealable.
Yes.
Right. Anyone else taking weaponry?
I am a weapon.
I don't think it's necessary.
The most powerful weapon known to man, my brain.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm taking nothing else.
Okay. All right. Okay, so a chime will indicate that the transportation is available for your trip downtown, or to the casino.
We assume it's downtown. He could be taking us out to the woods and shooting us for all we know.
Yeah, it's actually just
It's not even
up the
downtown, it's just
coastline.
across the way here, part of the casino.
Right. It's actually
Just down the beach.
it's down the beach. It's like a quarter mile or something.
That's not so bad. I was waiting for you to say they're going to drive us 2 blocks and let us out.
No. Okay, so everybody goes to the limo?
Yep.
Okay. On entering the limo and taking off, everyone roll a percentile. Okay, so Dr. Smith, you notice that and Arthur too, notice that there's something a little bit odd about the limo. You get a sensation of some inertial compensation. You get the sense that the limo is a lot heavier than it looks, and that there's maybe a repulsor field that makes it look like it's actually riding on the wheels, but you're pretty sure that there's an anti-grav component to this limo.
Like Dr. Lynn's van.
Yeah. You noticed it mostly in the turns. But okay, so you make your way down to the casino. When you arrive at the casino, you've probably seen this before, but I'll just reiterate. Out in front, there are a number of very expensive sports cars. Um, uh, of varying types. Um, and you'll also see some that look really not only just exotic, but not particularly flashy. You know, some of the old, well, let's see, you wouldn't even recognize.
They're not from this
Or
place.
not from this place. That's right. So yeah, so the new folks here, you see some very um, um, wow, yeah, for you guys, these are like really exotic. Um,
So there's the flashy nouveau riche cars, and then there's the exotic old money cars.
and yeah, and so yeah, we're talking Lamborghinis, Maseratis, the Porsche, um,
As
uh,
opposed to McLarens and
no, those are there too. Yeah, there's some McLarens. Yeah, so
Shelby AC Cobra.
exactly. Uh, DB DB5, DB7. Yeah.
Gee, fellas, look at those old jalopies. I bet they wish they had a goblin.
Okay. Making your way inside. This is definitely a trap. Um, right. So you'll spot the maitre d' easily enough, or the house steward, and he'll direct you to the um, to a private dining room that overlooks the water. It's on one of the upper floors. He'll actually have a page guide you. And when you arrive at the doors, or to the doors, um, there's someone standing there. Um,
What is
so
historical science, really quick?
what's what?
Historical science? Under the social sciences?
Let me look that up. Okay, comprehensive field, study of racial history, archaeology, paleontology, xenohistory, capable of reconstructing past history of a race from artifacts.
Cool. Thank you.
It's kind of archaeology.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a gentleman there at the door. He greets you as you approach, and he so he looks you over sort of critically, and then he reaches over to a nearby table that has a silver sort of platter on it and a white cloth, and he'll pick that up, and he makes his way um, to Arthur, and he sort of looks at you critically for a moment, and then says, if you would, please.
Is that? No, I'm just like Aiden's confused. I missed something.
He wants your piece.
He'll indicate.
Oh, he knows my. Oh, okay. If he's fit, yeah, I'll yeah.
Put your finger in the bag.
I'll comply. Yeah, I'll put my phone in the bag.
Okay. So
Just yeah, I brought my phone because my phone stays with me. My contact, yeah. Okay.
So
Put it in the bag.
So he's got a tray, right? A platter with a white napkin on top of it. What are you gonna do?
What? Put it on the napkin.
Okay. Having accomplished that simple task, he covers the pistol with a fold of the napkin and takes it over to the duvet nearby and opens the cabinet and will put it inside there. And he will say, just please ask for it on your departure. And then he goes to the door and opens it.
I want to see if I can get in.
In we go.
All right, stepping in, there's a waiter and a waitress. They greet you as you enter and say that your host will be with you momentarily. He has asked us to provide any refreshments that you might need. There's a buffet table. May I get you any drinks?
Just ice water for me.
I'm okay for the moment, thank you.
Very well. The room is yours. If you need anything, you may summon us by, he will indicate a bell on the table. Enjoy your evening, and they will depart.
So is the buffet an actual full dinner thing, or is this like hors d'oeuvres?
This is hors d'oeuvres.
Okay.
And I'll take a scotch neat.
Are you going to catch them before they
Yeah.
actually? Okay. Very good, sir. He waits for a moment to see if anybody else, and then he goes.
Okay. I'll grab a plate and get in line. Of course, it's just us, so I'll lead.
Okay. So the hors d'oeuvres, there's probably some exotic things here for those of you not accustomed to this type of fare.
It's all in a cream sauce.
And there's that too, yes. Um, the waitress will return with your scotch.
I'm just going to watch Dylan to make sure that he
Very
doesn't,
good.
die from the food.
So Jonathan, or Cajun,
Yes, sir.
roll a percentile. So I'm not sure what experience your character has had with this type of alcohol.
Okay.
But this particular glass is particularly good. To put that in context, if you were to buy this in Rand space, you're looking at maybe a $4,000 bottle.
Ooh.
This glass is probably a $300 pour or more.
Okay.
And it's, that much.
Because
Nice.
it's always easier to hide the poison in good scotch.
Of course.
That's right.
Well, if you're gonna do it, do it.
Okay. So from here you can see the bay out there. You see the boats tootling around, and the sun is starting to fall, and the lights are starting to come up, and it's particularly nice. At which point the doors will open, and Dylan, you
Yes.
will recognize the Count de Vilmont.
I'll
And
get up and make some sort of obviance.
he will say, you probably thought I was dead. And he'll chuckle.
Yes, in fact, I did. For some time.
Yes, well, it's harder to kill me than they think. So he'll greet the rest of you. This is a white-haired, somewhat elderly gentleman. He has a red sash and a dinner jacket, tails. For those who don't know me, my name is de Vilmont, Count de Vilmont. Be assured that you may speak freely here. I personally wanted to thank you for recovering the Kinyoner. We are in the process of re-equipping it, shall we say. Shall we order dinner?
Of course.
Sure.
He'll go over and ring the bell. At which point as soon as he rings it, the door will open and the waiter will come in with he's got a plate, and on the plate are some menus, and he'll pass those around. There are a few selections. It's either meat, fish, more game. Probably not well versed in the details of what it is, maybe. But an example would be, in fact, yeah, those of you from Rand Space, with the exception of Dr. Smith and Arthur, yeah, so things like steak Oscar, it's going to be a 7-course meal, cheese desserts at the end.
Cool.
I'll point out and help describe things too.
Okay.
So kind.
Yeah, they're not going to ask you for the preference in drinks, because that's going to be based on what you actually select. Until toward the end of the meal, at which point it'll be cigars and cognac if you want it or not. In any case, throughout the meal, he's going to be asking about you.
Me?
And everyone. So what's Rand Space like? What are the free worlds? How did you come to be working with Dylan? Yeah, there. Oh, and where did you find Kira? How did that all come about? So
It's an
lots
arranged
of
marriage.
So that'll
Good to see you finally accepting that.
That will strike his curiosity even more.
I have no compulsion holding back on anything.
Okay.
So I'm assuming I'll take lead on my line of the story, and then people can plug in as they get there. That sound good for everybody?
Yeah, I am going to be reluctant to share personal details since I am traveling under an assumed identity. But in terms of our adventures, I'm perfectly willing to share.
Okay. Anybody want to add anything to this?
I do want to hold off on anything dealing with psionics, forerunners, dragons, or
Jane.
alien spaceships.
Okay.
Or Jane.
Or Jane. She counts as alien spaceship.
Oh, okay, just checking.
All right. So, yeah, he'll take it all in. Ask probing questions here and there. And
is he acting like? I want to be careful how I phrase this question. Is he asking intelligent questions or is he playing the fob?
Roll percentile.
All right. Sorry, I was on the other side of the room. My computer. So that is a successful psychology roll.
So he's asking intelligent questions.
Okay.
It's not entirely clear where he's actually going with any of it, though.
Right, but he's not a person that we can regale with any sort of random bullshit we come up with. So, I mean, you've seen the Scarlet Pimpernel, right?
Sure.
Okay, so he's not the main character when he's a noble.
Correct.
Okay, Okay, just curious.
Okay. All right. So toward the end of the meal, he'll say, so several of you are in need of identities locally. I would propose that you well, let me ask this question. I understand that your loyalties are perhaps to Rand Space or to the Free Worlds. That's fine. I also understand that you're acting in some capacity as representatives of those interests there. And I would not venture to compromise those interests. There is, however, a task that could well position us in the next stages of our relationships with your respective employers or interests. Should you be willing to pursue it? In order to travel in CSA space, I'd want to provide you with documentation that would give you sufficient cover. The task I have in mind is bold, shall we say. It involves penetrating a Corellian starbase.
Okay.
And with that, he'll kind of pause for a moment and look at each of you.
The blood will drain from my face.
I will raise a questioning eyebrow. Like I'm interested.
I'm doing my level best to have no expression whatsoever.
Okay.
Me too. I just keep eating the soup.
Okay.
Complete poker faced.
Okay. So, as you are aware, we have some capacity to defeat Corellian sensors. We have learned that this particular starbase has the design for the new Corellian ECM and EM hardware. If we could get those, that would improve our effectiveness against them significantly. It would mean penetrating the base, getting to the computer, either the core or a terminal that can access the core, and running a search routine to find the information and copy it. If you're interested, we can go further. If not,
what's the pay?
Tajan, I love you.
I mean, we're pretty much mercenaries at this point. So
I am, of course, at your service.
The compensation is the standard package, 25,000 credits. He'll sort of nod at Dylan upon successful completion of the mission, plus an additional 50,000 should certain parameters be successfully met. From that, any loss of life among base members would subtract 1,000 credits each instance.
So you want this to be a very, very, very quiet mission.
If they know that you've penetrated the base, that would be problematic, yes. If they know that the research has been, well, it's not research, if the hardware schematics have been copied, that would defeat the whole point, because they would just redesign. That, of course, in that eventuality, would negate the bonus altogether.
I'm watching
I'm sorry, who?
Arthur.
Oh, okay.
Because, he's our computer expert. So I want to know what he's doing.
I mean, I'm listening intently. I'm actually I was just out of character thinking, oh shit, what would Arthur do here?
Think of the challenge.
I know, right? That's what I'm thinking. This sounds really good. It's like what was the analogy? We're the Bothan spies in Star Wars.
Okay, bad analogy.
Because they all died.
I mean, yeah, they did all die. A lot of Bothans died to get us this, but that's what they did. They were spies. They were sent in to go get information. Don't get caught, but they got caught, so they just sent the information anyway. That's what the whole start of the first loop. Okay. But yeah, that's basically who we are. That's what we're doing. That's what if they're willing to pay that. If that's enough for the group, then yeah, I'll do this.
So my takeaway is Arthur's thinking about dead Bothans and weighing that against 75,000 credits.
I'm going to turn to account, and I'm going to say, first of all, I want to thank you for your consideration of our unique positions. I'm certainly interested. Could you allow us a few moments of discussion amongst ourselves?
Certainly. The window of opportunity is fairly narrow. If we're going to do this, we need to be making preparations. I won't go into great detail at this point unless we have...
I mean literally 5 minutes.
Okay. Certainly. He will
Thank
take his
you.
drink and step out on the veranda.
Arthur, how close do we have to be to the station to pull this off?
Roll a percentile.
Yeah, thank you. What is this going off of? 64.
So, you're talking about information data that's he mentioned a computer core, so and a starbase.
All right.
You're not going to be able to just park a ship next door and put a limbic communicator on the hull of the starbase and pull the data. It's not going to work like that. You're going to have to, and he already said, you're going to have to get to a terminal that has access to the core where the data is stored. Now,
just because he said it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. That's why I'm asking Arthur.
Okay.
True.
That's a good point. And yes, Arthur, you are aware that whatever means that the terminals have to communicate with the core is really what you have to have access to. It just happens that, the physical terminal necessarily would have that type of connection to the core.
Point of clarification, is it a star base, i.e. in space, or is it a base on land?
Well, he didn't specify that, and he's presently on the veranda enjoying his cognac.
I will walk out to the veranda and be like, quick question. Question asked. Because it makes a big difference about us taking it as well as the cost. Because if standard, this does not seem like a standard mission.
Yeah,
I was going to bring that up later.
Yeah, no, I get it, but it if it's in space, that really takes it out of the standard mode. If it's on land, okay, that's a different. I mean, that the whole penetration profile is very different. So, excuse me, Count. I'm a little curious. Is this base that we would need to penetrate? Is this in space or is this a land base?
Terrestrial.
Thank you. Go back to the party.
Mm-hmm.
Terrestrial base.
All right, so that does make it easier. Presumably it has like regular traffic. In some respects, the easiest way. Well, no, I'm sorry. Forget that. Forget I said that. So, what do you think?
Look, I'm always up for an adventure.
I'm up for an adventure. I'm not up for suicide. That's why I want a sanity check.
So, sorry guys, I had to step away. What was the proposed pay for this little endeavor?
The base is 25,000 plus a bonus of 50,000 if certain parameters are met.
Each?
Correct. It's minus 1,000 for having to dispose of base personnel.
My wife just said from the kitchen that I'm in. So
that's awesome.
I'm certainly not out. I just want to hear from Dylan and from Arthur that this is something that's reasonable to pull off.
Yeah.
And what kind of support can we expect from our
I'm assuming we're going to get that in a minute.
Okay.
Well, Dylan's all in.
Of course, Dylan.
This will be different than pretty much anything he has done yet.
Bruce, is this normal for me? But maybe not normal, but at least done before.
In concept, in theory, sure. That's infiltration.
It's always like, is this like one of the things I just never got to do? Oh, infiltrate the military base.
Well,
you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, and the answer is no.
Okay.
It's all a question of. So it's one thing to, sneak into Microsoft or Google or Amazon or something like that, and get to a computer and extract information and then depart. Okay, well, this isn't a commercial outfit. We're talking about a military base of some kind.
But not necessarily Cheyenne Mountain.
Sure.
As far as we know at this point.
Yeah, at this point.
By that smile on Bruce's face, it seems to suggest that Cheyenne Mountain would be easy compared to this.
And then he starts laughing.
What's the plan?
All right. Is there anything else we want to talk about? We bring the count back in?
Oh, yeah. If I'm going to do this, I want maps or schematics to the biggest cluster of computers that are connected to the core. So if you can give me information that'll get me some kind of advantage there, I would like that.
All right. All right, I will go, since I was the one that suggested this, I will walk out onto the veranda. Your Grace, thank you for allowing us some time to talk. I think that we are prepared to move forward.
Excellent. Shall we rejoin the others?
Please.
Okay. So he'll walk back in with you. It sounds as though we have an accord. Yes?
It's certainly enough of one to hear more.
To continue the conversation.
What are you thinking of?
Well, for starters, why the hell am I the one talking?
Because you're the voice of the outsiders.
Obviously,
Actually, I kind of like that.
There is a saying in Rand space: the devil is in the details.
Indeed.
So I want to be clear about that. One thing that did strike us is you have suggested a rather bold plan, as you phrased it. Yet you're offering standard pay, and there seems to be a little bit of a disconnect there.
And I
not that we are entirely about money, but it wasn't an obvious disconnect.
And I'd like to hear more about these special conditions associated to the bonus pay.
Yeah, that's starting to sound like a special ops team.
But
three of us have to break up and go do that.
But like I said, we're very interested in hearing more.
Yeah.
In terms of specific details, I'm afraid I'm uncomfortable disclosing further until we have an actual commitment.
We're saying that we will take it. We're just saying that we are that the compensation is not most likely going to be standard, because this is not a standard operation. So we want to understand the details of the mission and then renegotiate on the compensation piece.
That would be a fair statement.
Well, we appear to be in a little bit of a catch-22, as it were. In short, disclosing further would require commitment, but you're conditioning commitment on an appropriate compensation package for an unknown. So I'm not sure where to go with that.
Then what we would say is we would want triple the standard rate, because this is not a standard mission. That 75,000 that you're saying that would be bonus, that would have to be guaranteed, not as a bonus.
And as I pointed out earlier, the 50,000 bonus is dependent on satisfactorily completing the mission successfully. That is, departing with the base none the wiser. The 25 is base, which you would receive regardless.
And what we're saying is, without further details, like, here's kind of what might help us understand a little better. You're saying this is the standard rate. What is a standard mission? Our colleague here has been on standard missions before. This ain't one of them. This would not seem to fall into that standard category. Are we being paid the same amount to infiltrate a Corellian base, steal some technology from them, get out unseen, as a person who's making a delivery for you?
I see where there perhaps is some confusion. My prior association with Dylan and some other associates of his involving this type of activity was at the rates that we've discussed. And those activities are of similar nature to this. No, this is not a courier job. On the other hand, you're not getting paid the rates of a courier to engage in this.
I'm looking at Dylan while he's having this conversation. Does that ring true?
That's a question for Dylan.
Yeah, I was thinking. The closest
See, the
thing
difference.
I could think of was when we invaded the pirate base. And a pirate base is certainly nothing like a Corellian base.
Now, the bonus there was not 50,000 though. The base was 25 plus, what was it, 30 or something?
I don't remember.
I think part of the disconnect here also is Dylan apparently owes some level of fealty to you that we do not. And so it would not be unreasonable for Dylan to, let us say, work at a discount. On the other hand, you have offered us a new identity that would let us move around in CSA space, which is of some value. So
perhaps I should clarify that a bit further. I guess I did take that comment for granted. What I'm proposing with the identities is employment as marshals for the Alliance Star Lines. That comes with a yearly salary. Dylan, do you remember what your yearly was? I think it's 100,000.
That sounds about right based upon how much money I currently have.
Yeah. So the base salary for Alliance Starlines Marshals is 100,000 credits.
Annually.
Annually. In addition to that, there are certain activities from time to time that you would be called upon to engage in.
And when we're not called upon to engage in activities, we spend our time here.
So, am I giving my 2-week notice to Dr. Lin? Is that what's happening?
So earlier he didn't.
Am I cheating on him? You know, that's what I'm asking. Am I cheating on Dr. Lin? You see what I'm saying? Especially with my culture.
So he made it clear that he did not expect that you would alter your duties or responsibilities to your respective cultures. I thought I tried to be very clear about that.
You did.
You did. I think I'm okay with it.
So yeah, what he's offering is credentials as an Alliance Starlines representative. That you should be able to interpret that to understand that also comes with some responsibilities to the Alliance Starlines, but you're effectively working for Dr. Lin, or I'm sorry, Count de Vilmont as a special operator for the CSA, maybe, or special forces. You know, that's a little bit ambiguous who he's actually representing.
I was thinking more Pinkerton, but you're probably right.
Well, you were met by a CSA lieutenant commander.
Yep.
So, you know, it shouldn't be that hard to put that together.
Nope.
But he hasn't come out and said, no, yeah. So,
military city. Yeah. I think I'm okay with it.
Yeah. So 100,000 annually plus missions at, 75 a pop. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Plus benefits.
That's not bad. As long as we get death and dismemberment, it seems to happen a lot
at the resort.
Yep.
With no overhead.
I'm good.
And you got 10,000 play money.
Signing bonus.
There you go. Okay, so he's, yeah.
Apologies for the apparently cross-cultural misunderstandings.
I should have anticipated.
I think I'm okay with this.
Is that the
I'm okay with this. I cannot speak necessarily for my compatriots. They speak for themselves on this, but
he's looking at the others. You're either all in or
you're
not.
all out. Yep.
I'm in.
Is the kid in?
Is that me?
You're the kid.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in.
Okay. All right.
I'll do this.
All right. Sounds like we very good. Very good. So what'll happen next is we'll get your credentials with the alliance established, and there might be some minor things associated with that. You may not hear from me again until after I'm going to have to be going, I'm afraid, until after the mission. But you'll receive from Alliance your credentials at the where you're staying at the Sportsman's Club. From there, you'll be given an assignment. It will likely take the form of an introduction to the Alliance Star Lines, welcome aboard and so on, along with travel to the next destination. From there, you'll get a briefing and further pre-mission details. Do any of you have any questions of me at this point?
Going back to the initial conversation that we had, are you still dead?
I am the Count de Villemont.
No,
there was a tragic accident at my villa just up the road. It blew up.
Yes.
Fortunately, I was not injured.
But okay, so publicly, you are alive. I just want to make sure that I don't make an impolitic random comment at some point that would cause you distress. So
that's quite all right. Yes,
okay.
I'm modestly might suggest that I'm reasonably well known around here.
Exactly. Then thank you again for your hospitality.
Very welcome. And I might add, welcome aboard. I can't stress enough how important this mission is. If it is successful, that would move let's just say that things will accelerate apace.
Very good.
I believe our goals run in parallel, so I'm eager to see this happen successfully.
Yes, indeed. With this, gentlemen, I must take my leave. As I said, you'll be contacted next by Alliance recruitment and put into the system. And best of luck. He departs.
Well, Count, before you go, if I can have just one moment.
Of course.
And I want to explain to him the various technologies that I had discussed with Dr. Lind on possibly getting to his people to help our rebellion recruitment in that other sector. Just so that he's aware of what I've been talking to other people about.
Well, if this mission is successful,
hold on a second.
We will have even better information to share with them. So thank you. That does help.
Okay.
Who's the contact? How do you contact Dr. Lind?
Didn't he give these guys something?
He did, yes. There are contact instructions.
909.
Yeah. Okay. You share that with him?
Who are you asking that of?
He asked the group, how do you contact Dr. Lind?
Ah, gotcha. Dr. Lind was okay with us communicating with him, right?
You are effectively his ambassadors here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we should give information to contact.
Well, the problem with that is once we do, we're not ambassadors anymore because they'll start talking directly.
But is that really an issue?
I don't know. Is that really an issue?
I don't think so, because it's not like we would stop communicating with Dr. Lind. They would just handle whatever kind of back and forth, hey, we need to have 5 cruisers over here and 3 cruisers over there kind of conversations, and not have to have that go through us.
Dylan, this contact information was given before we showed up. What do you think?
Before we showed up, you mean here?
No, before Tajin and I showed up.
The Dr.
Right?
Lind contact stuff? No.
Yeah.
That was after.
No? Okay.
That was like just
was
before
there
we
for it.
left.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it was right before we left the last time.
Something along the lines of, if you need to get a hold of me. Wasn't it some kind of like hyperspace courier drone kind of thing or something?
Yeah, see, I don't remember. So, okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yes.
Yes, what?
It was a hyperdrone thing.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
In which case we would have it on the Marquis Revenge.
Okay. So you share that with him.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay. It's likely that you'll be taking Alliance transportation from here on out.
Commercial?
No. Well, possibly. It depends on how they want to handle it.
Our air marshals.
What's that?
I was just saying we really are air marshals.
Yep.
As far as the Alliance is concerned, Alliance Starlines is concerned, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If there are no other questions of me, again, best of luck, and I will see you on the other side. And
Thank you again.
with that, he will depart. Oh, you're welcome to stay as long as you like, of course. Enjoy the casino.
3 years later.
You still this long?
Okay, so he leaves.
Well, I'll tell you what. At this point, I need a drink.
I had a rather in the game, but
So is that here or in the casino?
Nah, we should leave it here. So, sneaking into a ground base, they're right. Sneaking into a ground base is a lot easier than sneaking into a space base. Because the ground base is going to have communication with the star town around it.
And
So-
resupply and all kinds of commerce going in and out.
yeah,
Yep.
but the kind of computer we have to get to isn't going to be somewhere a civilian resupplier could go anywhere near.
Right.
No, but we can get a lot closer to it than we could in a star base.
And Q Branch will
Okay.
give us access to, sneak suits and all kinds of stuff we may need.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Q branch? You really call it Q branch?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. And, well, he calls it that, especially since that's the first way he described it to me. And so now he just calls it Q branch because I bring it up when we talk about like
Is the count's assistant named Moneypenny?
that. No.
No. In fact, I don't know the name of the person here. We've got
It was
handlers on
mostly
a
an
couple of
incentive.
planets.
Yeah, it was mostly about Dr. Lind actually.
Okay.
All right.
So you enjoy the evening here, have some more cigars and drinks or whatever, and then make your way back to the Sportsman's Club.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, there is a limo waiting to take you back. Um, anything to do that evening? Get to tomorrow.
I grabbed my gun.
Oh yes, as you depart, the guard at the door will return your firearm discreetly.
Thanks, bro.
Does do you need any type of equipment that might help you to infiltrate this base?
You're asking
I
me?
am asking you.
Okay.
Like, do you need an upgraded deck? Can you get an upgraded deck here?
Yeah, I'm not actually sure. Should I roll for that?
Well, that's something
Well,
we can discuss with our handler once they contact us. On what we have
Okay,
access
Okay.
to. What will we need to get into actually jack into the computer core? What kind of cybernetics can our buddy here get connected up with? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
okay.
And no pressure, but if you don't know and it goes wrong, we're probably all going to die.
Yeah.
This is all on Arthur.
Woohoo! Dylan had like 7 adventures. Now I get one. Yay!
Okay, so in the morning, you will each receive an email from Alliance Starlines Recruiting. And sure enough, just as the Count suggested, there's a good deal of information that you would expect of a major corporation taking on new employees.
I swear to
Dylan,
God, if they make me go through a sexual harassment briefing, I quit.
no, it's actually going to be. Actually, let's not talk about that. Never mind. So, with the exception of Dylan, everyone will have. Uh, oh, wait a minute. So, all of your personal histories and familial relationships and so on have been already submitted. So all of that kind of information is coming back to you as if you had already filled out all of this information. So in effect, they are giving you false identities with backstories and history and all of that.
Cool.
Okay. It may or may not become relevant. We'll see. But there is notification that your actual credentials are waiting for you at the there's a secure safe at the reception, and you can collect your credentials there. So aside from that, this is all post intake stuff, right? In addition, everyone will receive uh, uh, departure instructions for Marduk. And you can find some details about Marduk in the database.
So, Bruce, I have a question. I don't know what's going to be appropriate attire for a air marshal, but is it a good idea to call the tailor and make any change requests for my order?
That's a great question. So it would depend on the conversation that you had perhaps with the tailor and or Dylan with respect to sort of business wear attire, assuming that's what you went for.
Yeah, in fact, the note I made was like, kind of sport coat-ish, John Wick suit. I don't know, something in that range.
Yeah.
So is there an adjustment in order, or is that sufficient?
No.
Okay.
That's sufficient.
Thanks.
And I'm assuming everyone went with some sort of business attire.
Yes.
Yes.
I literally have John Wick suit.
I would like it to be known I had the first John Wick suit.
He did have the first John Wick suit. I totally plagiarized.
I hope you recognize that John Wick had the first John Wick suit.
I'm trying.
Yeah, John Wick borrowed that suit from me to begin with.
Yeah, John Wick. I gave him that suit.
So, how long did he say? How long it was going to be before we were leaving?
His only comment in that regard was that the Alliance Star Alliance would be contacting you with those details.
The one thing I think I want to do is I want to start working on a language tape for Carillion.
Okay.
And you know what? If we have to leave before it's done, then it's just $250.
So, yeah. Your departure for Marduk is scheduled for 2 days from now.
Okay, then I won't do that. So, won't worry about it. Okay.
Can I contact the ASL office here?
Yes.
I want to inquire about getting concealed carry permits for Marduk.
So, I believe you already have those.
I do for Mephistopheles. If you want to say we've already got it from Marduk, that's fine. But the only one I've written down was the Mephistopheles one.
Okay.
Have you been to Marduk before?
I have, yeah.
Huh. I thought. Okay.
So I remember the rigmarole we went through with Mephistopheles.
Right. Yes. They will forward that to Marduk.
Okay.
So when he says that, you might be thinking in the back of your head that that's probably going to travel with you in the ship that you're going to be taking. It's not going to get there any sooner than you are, right? You're leaving in a couple of days. There's no way they can communicate with the planet before.
But if it's coming from the company rather than from me as a person, that should grease skids and stuff, right?
It's a whole different ball of wax. Yes.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
You might want to suggest that to the others.
Oh, I would. In fact, I would have on their behalf. I would have been talking with the office.
Okay. Okay. Very good. So yeah, apparently the next transport is in 3 days, and they expect you to be on it for transit to Marduk. So, anything that you would like to
Anyone
do?
got a port girlfriend?
What?
I said, anybody got a port girlfriend?
A port girlfriend. That's hilarious. Nope.
Okay, so anything between now and 3 days.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I did want to go visit with my gunsmith friend. And I want to
Okay.
bring one of my armor-piercing discarding sabot rounds for the Gauss rifle, the non-explosive ones,
Uh-huh.
and
Are you
ask
taking
him if he can
are you taking
make
anyone with you?
flèche rounds.
Are you taking anyone with you?
I will mention that I'm going to go see a gunsmith friend of mine if anybody wants to come along.
Hey, can you make me a ghost pistol?
No, probably not, no.
Darn.
Okay, I didn't hear any affirmatives. So, all right.
I suspect that's because Taichin's not here. Oh,
is he not here?
No, I'll go. I'll
Oh,
actually go with him because I will. This mission is only a little
see?
concerned. We will. I'll want a concealable weapon.
okay. All right.
Mine didn't work.
Okay, so the two of you going once, twice. Okay. All right, you're there. So Jonathan, this guy is in a little shop. He smells like gun oil and burnt powder.
Cool.
um, um, he has a overall. It's got he's wears it a lot apparently, and it kind of looks like a little hole in the wall. Really, his shop, and it you don't see a lot of high tech here. It's he's got a uh, it's a drop thing for bluing barrels, and he's got a lathe, and oh, that's the other thing. You smell grease and burnt metal or turned metal.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, you go in. Oh, so yeah, there's the entry, a lot of sport rifles. There's a door that um, goes into where the shop is, and there's windows that you can see into the shop from the display room. Um, and there are some trophies here too. There's maybe a T-Rex skull and some other uh, interesting animals. So when he sees Dylan, oh, and there's no one else here. It's just him. And he's in the back working on something, and he'll look up when the door, there's actually a bell at the door. It's not like a sliding door or anything. And so you open the door and the little bell rings, and yeah, he'll look up and you'll see Dylan, and he'll kind of nod, and uh, he'll finish up whatever he's doing. Um, Jonathan, go ahead and roll a percentile, please. Okay, then. Um, so, okay, so yeah, he'll come out, and I see you brought a friend. He kind of
Yes, and I can vouch for him.
Oh, well, good then. He seems a little bit distrusting as he kind of looks at you, assessing you. It's pretty clear
It's a
that
personality flaw. You get used to it.
Okay.
What'd you bring me?
And I'll reach
He
in my
looks at-
pocket, turn my back towards the door,
Okay,
pull it out. Can you make
all right.
anti-personnel fauché rounds for this?
He'll look at it. Already have. How many you need?
You got a case? I'm guessing that's like 150 rounds?
He'll
Well, these
kinda
are 20
look over it.
millimeter.
Yeah, it's
Maybe it's more
probably
like 50
less than-
rounds.
Right. Exactly. So he'll look at Tajin and he'll nod to indicate that you should follow him.
Follow.
So he leads the two of you back into the shop. And he goes through the shop to a door in the back, and it's looks like it would go to the back, right? Like to the backyard or something. He'll open that up, and the three of you will step in, and he'll close the door, and then he'll open a panel that has, it looks like elevator buttons, and he'll hit one, and the floor will drop out as you descend some distance, and he'll open the door again, and you're in another shop. Walking in here, you can see an array of advanced firearms. So there's blaster rifles, there's blaster machine guns, heavy machine guns, some other heavy ordnance. He'll go through the racks over to where the ammo is, and he'll pull out a case and open it up, and look at the shell that you gave him and the one that he's got, and he'll hand it to you. And so is this what you're looking for?
Looks like it. How much?
Don't worry about it. He hands it to you.
Nice.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Aim well. He kind of has a toothy grin. All right. He'll escort you back out.
Okay.
Somebody who gives you free ammo. That's got to be Tajin's new best friend.
Does he? So we've got. I'm thinking about how we're getting into this space. Does he have anything that would allow us, like a case with a false bottom? Now, I'm also making an assumption here, and I'll ask on our way in: is this guy a company asset?
No.
My assumption is he is. He's not.
I don't believe he's not ours, that's for sure.
So he's not part of the
Not that I
the
know of.
organization that we just joined up with. Okay. Then I'll ask him, do you have any extra large weapons carrying cases? or cases that might be layered, potentially with a false bottom.
Oh, I see. For what specifically?
For a rifle, either a laser or a blaster rifle. Probably a laser or a needle or rifle.
What is the case otherwise?
Either a briefcase.
For rifle?
Briefcase size, yes. Or a traveling case.
Well, whatever you put in there, you would have to break down.
Yep.
Okay. So for a rifle, I can't see doing that in a briefcase, unless your vision of a briefcase is different than mine. Could do it in luggage. Do you have the rifle in question?
I don't. It is and I'll list off the standard, but he wouldn't know what the standard was. So I will look at a comparable. This is a weapons shop, so I will assume that they have comparable weapons and be like, it's pretty much this exact thing here. The trigger guard is a little bit different here, and the buttstock is a little bit longer there, but other than that, it's the same thing.
Okay. And what is it that you're actually trying? So I'm asking.
Gotcha. So I'm looking to have something that we don't know how we're going to infiltrate this base yet. Okay. One of the ways that we might have to infiltrate this base is literally like, hey, we're driving onto your base and we need to carry in weapons potentially. And if we need to do that, I want to have something that we can transport them in.
Okay.
That we can say here, like we're technicians to come and repair X. Here's all our technical stuff, but underneath that is a buttload of guns.
Oh, well, that's a different animal altogether now. So now you're talking about like a crate that's got a false bottom that you could put a bunch of guns in.
It could be one, it could be multiple. If he's got them in stock, then I'd be like, all right, give me one for each of us. If it's something that's got to be made, I mean, it's okay. Potentially yes.
All right. Well, if we take the example of a blast light machine gun, that's, I mean.
Well, my blast light machine gun, that's on the powered armor. That's a different beast.
Okay. Well, that's what I was trying to get to is, is it a carbine? Is it a sport rifle? Is it, so, okay. So the short answer is yes, he has, luggage that have compartments for pistols or rifles. He's got briefcases that you could conceal pistols in, possibly a broken down carbine in a briefcase.
Okay.
In terms of larger, that's more of a custom job that, what kind of shipping is this? And, it's a different series of questions.
Okay.
But yeah, no, he would not have that. Yes, he would have designer label luggage that has false compartments that could hold, a couple pistols, a carbine, or broken down carbine, broken down rifle in.
Okay. So I'd like one for each of us.
Okay. since we don't know the specific firearms that we're talking about, he could include a foam canister that you could use to, wrap the components, foam it to make the casing or the, so it doesn't rattle and all that stuff.
Right.
Now, these are going to pass most sensors.
Okay.
But possibly not, if they actually open it up and go, hey, why is there this big void here?
Sure.
So there are those, and if it's a little briefcase that you're hiding, a carbine in, that takes up a good portion of the briefcase. So, be realistic about what you're actually doing. Okay. I'm not sure what the pricing on that is going to be. I'll have to do a little bit of research.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. You can do that.
Cool.
Any other questions? Okay. So you make your way back to the Sportsman's Club.
Yep. All right.
So what are you going to do with all this ammo, Brian? Dylan?
I'm going to put it in the storage locker on the Marquis Revenge.
Okay. You've got time to do that, I'm sure. So 3 days. So it looks like Gary's back. Looks like you're muted, Gary. So if you're trying to talk, there you are.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, great. So I'm not sure where you dropped out. What was the last thing you heard?
Dylan having the conversation about ammo, I think.
Okay, good. So you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't miss a lot. It was just my, sound card is whacking things up today.
So they went to the gunsmith, got some luggage and some ammo. You could have gone with them if you wanted, or not, whatever. Okay. So if nothing else, then the next couple of days will go by and you can ship out to Marduk.
Okay.
Okay. So in the database, CSA sector for Marduk, there's some folder, there's some information. So when you board, it's an Alliance Starlines ship, a transport liner, a passenger ship. Does anybody want to do anything aboard ship? It's going to be about a week and a half travel.
Just to make sure, we did stop and get our credentials, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
I would assume, I would make those assumptions that
okay.
You went down to the reception and collected your packages each. The trip from the Sportsman's Club to the airfield is going to be by limo. Once you arrive at Starport, there will be a limo waiting on that end as well. And they don't take you into the terminal, they'll take you to the ship itself.
Yeah.
they will check your credentials, of course, and once they see that you're Alliance Starlines Marshals, that opens up doors pretty quickly. Yeah, so the flight to Marduk is actually uneventful. Yeah. There is a map that is of the capital. So the ship, I'm sorry about the quality of this, but it's the best I've got, unfortunately. So looking at the map, to the north is where the starbase is. That's up there is where the Alliance liner will come down. From there, you'll take a transport into uh, it's really hard to see, isn't it? Sort of central. It's called Old Town, which is Western Port. But if you open up the Old Town, Western Port, Old Town map, you can see where the Alliance building is. Let me find it. Alliance Starlines building is number 11. Where's number 11? There it is. So it's on the
in the lower left-hand corner.
Lower left-hand corner of Hyde Park. So this is the sort of the business district, the financial district of Marduk, Government Business Center. So you're taken by limo to the Alliance Starlines building. From there, so that's where they're going to do an intake. And from there, they will send you to a hotel, which is nearby.
Hey, Bruce?
Uh-huh.
Is this where the Jolly Roger is?
As a matter of fact, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In fact, it's just down the street from here.
We're going to have lunch there.
On the water. So yeah, there's hotels throughout here. I think it's the Historical Society. Yes. So in the Historical Society of Marduk, there's on the lower floors where the Historical Society is. The upper floors are apartments and such, and they have assigned apartments, a suite of apartments up there for each of you for your stay here. Okay.
That's just off of Buckingham, right?
What's that?
That's just off of Buckingham Court?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Just across from Hyde Park. Okay. And yes, you're correct. Just down the street from here, if you go back to the other map, so where it says Old Town, Western Port Old Town, just on the water right there is where that tavern is, and the Jolly Roger. The Jolly Roger is an old brig that some wealthy people have built, and there's sort of a pirate theme that they do out on the bay every year, and fire the cannons and all that. So there you are. So we're going on 9:50 here, which is past midnight to some of you. I'm willing to go further, but up to you guys.
Sleep.
Sleep.
Yeah, I should probably
Very
call
good.
it quits.
I would love to go a little bit further, but that's all right. We'll call it right here. So yeah, if you take them down to the tavern, do you remember the name of it? I'd have to look it
I
up.
thought the name of the tavern was the Jolly Roger. Or is that the name of the ship?
Oh, that is the name of the ship. I didn't think they called the tavern the Jolly Roger. But anyway, on the water there in that little area, there's an old English pub, waterfront, um, uh, old old English style medieval pub,
I'll
and
see if I got my notes for next time.
inside there's the all the staff dress in 1600s type apparel, and no, not 1600s, 1700s, right? Cannon. When did we get cannon? Yeah, 1700s thereabouts. Late 1700s. And there's paintings on the walls, and it's all decked out in nautical type stuff, rope and netting and different kind of stuff. The benches are have some carvings on them, and just down from there on the water is looks like a brig, two-masted sloop sort of thing that's made up like an old pirate ship, sailing ship.
And I'll tell them all about the cool stuff we found here.
Oh, well, that's a long story.
It
So
certainly
I'll
is.
leave that to you. Perhaps next time.
Yep.
All right. And I should mention, looking out over the water from the pub, there's a Carillion Imperial starbase.
Very good.
Yeah, that circular island out in the bay, right?
Yep.
Down by the bay.
That big circular thing out there. That's
Bum,
a starbase. Yeah, from here it looks really imposing. Lots of anti-personnel Nova gun emplacements. Yeah, it's a serious starbase.
Paranoid.
Do we see traffic coming in and out from it?
Not by. Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yeah. There's Imperial traffic.
Boats or aircraft?
Aircraft.
Okay. Good to know.
There is some boat traffic, that's true. Okay. Well, we'll leave it right there.
Okay.
Okie
Sounds
doke.
good.